Thank you for your comments, sir. Mr. Parker? You're welcome, sir.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, honorable commissioners, members of our community. I humbly rise in support of the recommendation of the staff for the projects located at L and 60th Street. You see, gentlemen and ladies, my community is a unique situation that I'm in. I was a 20-year resident of the Quartz Hill area, elected as the Quartz Hill Town Councilman for 2 terms. More importantly, here lately, I was the co-chairman of the Citizens Planning Commission in which this recommendation came from. But most importantly, I've been a victim of the lack of infrastructure on the west side for the last 2 years. This project will bring the needed infrastructure for those developments that have promised to build houses on the west side but have not completed that promise. You see, even today, as I stand here, my water is being regulated. It's being measured because at any given time of the day, we will lose water pressure completely. I have 5 daughters, 2 granddaughters, 3 girl dogs. The lack of water is not a choice in my household. I have a long history in this community, a history of dealing with a lot of high-profile issues. And for me to stand here today, I had to make some serious life choices because there are going to be people that are going to cast aspersions on my credibility because of my position. This is a highly emotional issue. We've talked about the infrastructure in Quartz Hill for the last 2 decades. We were unable to incorporate. We talked about the lack of, or the abundance of water. I lived on 52nd Street, and for 20 years I refused the tax hike to improve the water because it only encompassed a couple of blocks that would have to pay the increase for that water to be fixed, that you could actually drive a boat down 52nd Street or catch catfish with a bucket. So I stand here realistically because this was a hard decision for me to have to make. For 1.5 years, I listened to the public come into these very chambers and in town hall meetings and talk about how we needed to improve the infrastructure, how we needed to build out, how our approach needed to be an equal approach where we brought infrastructure, we brought business, and we supported the residents. When this idea of Wal-Mart came across the street from the high school, initially, like many others in this room, I hit the roof. How could we put it next to a high school? Well, the fortunate blessing was that as part of that commission, I was able to travel down to Newhall to look at their 100-year plan, to look at how they had taken business infrastructure and placed it next to residents and how that development, that community is thriving. So I ask that as emotional as this situation is, as the young man pointed out earlier, there is no win-win. But collectively we can come together to find common ground that improves our community, builds our infrastructure, helps our schools, helps our students, and makes Lancaster the best city it can be. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, sir.